Hi everyone, it's Majella here from Kilkenny County Council Library Service. I'm going to go through a few book recommendations for children for you again today. Just before I start, I'm sitting here in Crean Library all on my own. The children who usually visit us for Storytime will probably recognise I'm sitting in the Storytime corner. And just to say that we miss all the children who visit us for Storytimes and all the classes. And we hope when it's safe we'll see you all again soon. So I'm just going to get on with the recommendations. I have different recommendations for different age groups today. So I'm going to start with the younger children and the few picture books. So here's one you're probably all quite familiar with, Monsters Love Underpants. It's a great series. It's a very funny book. It's a rhyming book. After reading this, you'll see monsters in a whole new light. Just to read the blurb on the back to give you an idea, monsters think it's monster fun to creep around, all scary, but there's something they love even more than looking mean and hairy, and that's underpants. So there's other titles in the series are Aliens Love Underpants, Pirates Love Underpants, and Dinosaurs Love Underpants. Who knew? So that's a great book, love it. This is one that I really love. I love the face of the cat on the front of that book. Just look at the face. That's called Mr. Puskins. Mr. Puskins lives at home with his owner. He's fed up living at home because he feels his owner makes too much of a fuss of him and he's just fed up with it. So he runs away from home. He meets up with a few different characters, different animals, gets into a bit of trouble, but soon realises how good he had it at home. So that's a really good book. I would recommend that. It's by Sam Lloyd and it's published by Hatchet Children's. And the last picture book is one of my favourites. This is called Hedgehogs. It's written by Lucy Taper and Steve Wilson and it's published by Maverick Books. This is a lovely story about two hedgehogs called Horace and Hattie. They're the best of friends, they do everything together, but there's one thing that they can't do and that's share a hug because they're just too prickly, so they have to find a way around it. That's a beautiful story, lovely illustrations. You can see Horace and Hattie there, they're trying out all kinds of different things to see can they hug each other. And I'm not going to spoil it. You'll have to read the book to find out do they actually manage it. Lovely book, highly recommend. There is one more that I'd love to recommend and it's a really good book as well. It's called The Runaway Pea. And just as you're going to sit down to your tea, this pea runs off the plate, runs away, gets up to all sorts of mischief. You won't believe where he ends up. Now, I'm not going to ruin that story either, but that's another one that I would recommend. He gets into all sorts of trouble. You'd be amazed how far he goes, actually, when he runs away from the plate. So that's a really lovely book as well. Now, just going on to some for the older children. This is a series a lot of people might be familiar with also. It's the Bertie series. It's out a good few years. It's good for children who have just started reading and are trying to gain more confidence reading. The chapters are short and the language is easy to understand, so it's good for improving readers. So just to read a bit about Dirty Bertie here. So meet Dirty Bertie, a boy with nose-pickingly disgusting habits. Oh. He's full to bursting with madcap plans and crazy ideas, and if it's trouble you're after, look no further because Bertie is sure to be up to his neck in it. It's great book. It's very funny. I read this to my children when they were small. I loved it. They loved it. I'll just read out some of the titles of the books because the titles of the books are fantastic. Worms, Fleas, Pants, Crackers, Bogies, Mud, Germs. There's loads of titles in the series. So if you like those, pick up one of those. If you like it, you have loads of titles to get through. I'd highly recommend that. That's a great series, Dirty Bertie. Just to go on to some non-fiction books as well. Here's a good one for the times that we're in. 100 screen-free ways to beat boredom. So pocket your smartphone, put away your tablet and unplug your games console. Packed with activity, ideas and step-by-step projects, this book proves you don't need a lot of special materials, toys or planning to have a great time away from the screen. Loads of ideas in that to get out and about, get away from the screens and have fun. Okay, another non-fiction book here with an Irish theme. So this one is Tom Crean, The Brave Explorer by John and Fasci Burke. You might be familiar with those authors. There's another few books that they have written as well. The Irelandopedia and Folkloropedia are just two more of theirs. Just to read a bit about this book as well from the back. Tom was one of 10 children who grew up on a farm in County Kerry. He loved adventure so much that at the age of 15 he ran away to join the British Navy and sail around the world. While his ship was moored in New Zealand, Tom met Captain Robert Scott, and Scott's dream was to be one of the first people ever to reach the South Pole, and he asked Tom to join his crew, and so Tom's adventures began. That's a great book. Okay, when I do story time, I often bring in a bit of science, just maybe a few science facts. Science is great. This is a lovely book, Amaze Your Friends with Spectacular Science Experiments. And there's loads of things at home that you can use to create some science experiments. I love science, so that's why I'm just throwing that one in. It's published by Dorling Kindersley, and you'll all be familiar with that publisher and how good they are, so don't forget the science books. And just another quick non-fiction one, Story of Inventions. This is a great one for younger children. This is the story of some of the world's best inventions, brilliantly told and illustrated for younger readers. It's by Catherine Barr and Steve Williams. It's illustrated by Amy Husband, and it's published by Francis Lincoln Children's Books. Okay, now just to go on to some back to fiction for the older children. So these would be suitable for children 10 years and up. The first one I have here is by Frank Cottrell Boyce, Runaway Robot. Popular author, and this is a very funny book. I'll just read a bit about it here on the back again. When Alfie goes to the airport lost property, he finds a giant robot called Eric hidden away on the shelves. Eric has lost one leg and half his memory. He's super strong, but super clumsy. He's convinced that he's the latest technology when he's actually nearly 100 years old and ready for the scrap heap. Can Alfie find a way to save Eric from destruction before Eric destroys everything around him? So that sounds like a really good story. The next one I have is by Irish author Anne Murtagh. Anne lives in Kilkenny with her family. This is a fiction story. It's historical fiction. It's set in springtime in 1919, and Ireland's War of Independence has broken out. In a cottage in County Westmeath, 13-year-old Colm Connolly longs to join the local volunteers, the Rainbow Chasers, who are fighting for an Ireland free from English rule. But Colm has another ambition too, to make a new life in America working as a fiddle player. When spirited Belfast girl Alice, who speaks Irish, shares his love of music and is also committed to the cause, arrives in town. Colm's dreams take a new turn. Where will his talent lead him, and how long will a long-held family secret shape his future? There's always a family secret. So that's another really good one, just recently published. Irish author Anne Murtagh, The Sound of Freedom. That would be suitable, like I said, for children 10 and upwards, probably 12 even upwards. So that's one to keep in mind as well. And the last one I have is... it's a book by Jaspinder Bilan, I hope I pronounced that right, and it's Asha and the Spirit Bird. It won the Costa. It was a winner in the Costa Book Awards in 2019. It won the Times Children's Fiction Competition in 2017. So this book is set in the foothills of the Himalayas. Money is tight, and Asha misses her papa, who works in the city. When he suddenly stops sending his wages, a ruthless moneylender ransacks their home, and her mother talks of leaving. From her den in the mango tree, Asha makes a pact with her best friend to find her father and make things right, but the journey is very dangerous. They must cross the world's highest mountains and face hunger, tiredness, and even snow leopards. And yet Asha has the unshakable sense that the spirit bird of her grandmother will be watching over her, hence the title, Asha and the Spirit Bird. So they're just a few of my recommendations for all age groups. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you might pick up one or two of them and enjoy, and we'll speak to you again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.